Liberace was huge. In her memoir, Amanda Blake reveals all. Amanda Blake was born Beverly Louise Neal in Buffalo, New York, on February 20th, 1929. She was raised by a middle-class American household in the early 20th century as the only child of Jesse and Louise Neal. Jesse Neal, her father, was a banker, which offered the family financial security. Amanda's lively personality and artistic passion contrasted with her family's traditional culture from an early age. Louise, her mother, encouraged her to read and act in school plays, spotting her ability for television. Blake's acting career was difficult before fame. She started as a telephone operator, a normal job for young women. She developed her poised speaking voice and sharp wit from this experience, which would later improve her cinematic performances. While attending Pomona College in Claremont, California, she showed early academic promise but was too drawn to the performing arts to stay in class. She also studied at Bruneo Academy in Gainesville, Georgia, from 1944 to 1945, improving her communication and stage presence. After years of respect for education, she joined Bruneo's board of advisors and became a trustee, demonstrating her thanks and commitment to the institution that shaped her early development. MGM, one of Hollywood's most prominent studios, signed Amanda Blake in the late 1940s, changing her life. The studio saw in her the grace, beauty, and intelligence of Greer Garson and believed she would follow in her footsteps. MGM helped her into films that showed her flexibility. In movies like 1952 Western Cattletown, her charm and presence set her apart from veteran actors. Miss Robin Crusoe, a unique and ambitious rendition of Robinson Crusoe, giving her the rare chance to star in a feature film in 1954, unusual for a young actress. In the same year, she played a supporting role in A Star is Born, a landmark Hollywood movie, proving her acting chops. However, 1955 changed Amanda Blake's career and legacy. She played Miss Kitty Russell, Dodge City's warm-hearted but strong-willed saloon proprietor, on Gunsmoke. The 1950s Western, one of the longest-running in television history, gave Blake a sophisticated and autonomous character. Blake portrayed Miss Kitty with intelligence, grit, and tenderness from 1955 to 1974, become one of television's most beloved figures. Her blazing red hair, glittering eyes, and authoritative presence behind the Long Branch Saloon bar were admired. She brought a lion named Chemo to Gunsmoke on February 27, 1974, to show her appreciation for animals and wildlife protection. Blake rarely appeared in films during those years due to her commitment to Gunsmoke. She continued to appear on popular TV shows. She appeared often on The Red Skelton Show in lighthearted comedic pieces that showcased her fun side underneath Miss Kitty's harsh appearance. She entertained audiences as a celebrity panelist on Hollywood Squares, Tattletales, and the 1970s Match Game revival with her wit and charm. She also performed in the Dean Martin Celebrity Roast, impressing studio and TV audiences with her quick wit and poise. Blake appeared as Betty Levon Coat in the 1957 State Trooper episode Coat of Many Colors, expanding her television career. After Gunsmoke ended, she pursued other acting roles despite her fame. Two 1988 films marked her comeback to feature cinema after a Gunsmoke reunion. The Boost, a brutal drug addiction story starring James Woods and Sean Young, and Born, a lesser-known thriller. These roles showed her passion for acting and willingness to tackle difficult material late in her career. In 1968, the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum in Oklahoma City inducted Amanda Blake into the Hall of Great Western Performers. She became the third performer to receive this accolade, after Tom Mix and Gary Cooper in 1958 and 1966, respectively. She had a lasting impact on Westerns as Miss Kitty and is one of its most memorable female roles. Blake became a Hollywood and American television icon for her portrayal of a strong, independent woman who changed Western women's roles. In addition to her successful profession, Amanda Blake had several marriages that highlighted her need for companionship and the difficulties of managing fame and privacy. Blake married 5 times, each presenting a narrative about the actress who played Miss Kitty Russell from Gunsmoke. Her first marriage was to Jack Shea in 1952, when she was just starting out in Hollywood. After a year, they divorced in 1953. Blake was still trying to get into a competitive, long-hours sector. The responsibilities of a developing acting profession surely strained their relationship. Few details concerning her marriage to Shea are public. Blake's desire to act full-time may have driven her independence. Blake wedded Don Whitman in 1954 after her first divorce, which seemed hopeful. Whitman, who was not in show business, contrasted with Blake's high-profile life. The marriage was short-lived too. Just 2 years later, they divorced in 1956. Blake's career was advancing. In 1955, she began working on Gunsmoke, which would define her life. It's been alleged that her rising fame and the intensive production schedule for the long-running Western series made her personal life unstable. Blake's marriage to Whitman was a moment of personal growth and transition as she went from promising actor to household recognition. Blake married numerous more times in her life. Her 1984 marriage to Mark Edward Spath, her sixth, may have been her most meaningful. Austin City Councilman Spath was highly known. Their partnership was a new era for Blake, who had retired from gun smoking and focused on animal welfare and other charities. Blake was highly involved in humanitarian endeavors when the couple married, and Spath's civic-mindedness matched her developing sense of purpose outside Hollywood. Their time together ended tragically. 1 year after their marriage, Spath died of AIDS-related pneumonia in 1985. His death devastated Blake, who was said to be greatly impacted. It was also one of the first high-profile examples tying AIDS to public individuals in the 1980s, when the disease was still stigmatized. Blake contracted HIV from her late husband, which led to her health decline and 1989 death. Blake's brief marriage to Spath showed his love and compassion even in disaster. Her strength and empathy were evident on and off screen. She used her emotions and personal experiences to advocate for AIDS research and animal rights in her latter years. Amanda Blake, well known as Gunsmoke's fiery red-headed saloon keeper Miss Kitty Russell, revealed Hollywood's glamorous and occasionally scandalous 1950s and 1960s world in her posthumous biography. Blake's memoirs illuminate her travels and the larger-than-life characters she met with honesty, humor, and mischief. Her honest account of Liberace, whom she admired and laughed at, was one of the book's most shocking. She claimed that Liberace was huge, highlighting his popularity, brilliance, and dominance on stage and off. Blake met Liberace at a Hollywood banquet in the mid-1950s, when both were emerging talents. She stated that he entered in a white fur coat that flowed behind him like a bridal train. His arrival dimmed the chandelier, not because the lights changed, but because all eyes were on him. To Blake, who was only starting to gain prominence, the pianist epitomized everything grandiose about entertainment. She said his attraction was incredible. Liberace might interrupt a conversation with a producer or studio boss. Attracted by gravity, everyone turned to him. Blake wrote in her essay that Liberace's aura intimidated and captivated her. She said he was huge in every aspect. The jewelry, capes, and candelabra weren't props. His personality was reflected in them. She sat in the front row of one of his Las Vegas gigs and felt his power. She wrote that he played the piano like his soul. There was showmanship in every note. He played more than music. He lived, breathed, and acted it. He held your attention. Blake also displayed a kinder, more thoughtful man behind the glitz. She remembered Liberace's shyness offstage. His soft voice and friendliness contrasted with his public image. He recognized waiters, drivers, and studio helpers. Even though you knew he was the star, he made you feel special. She said their friendship grew over late-night discussions and fame jokes. Blake wrote, "He told me we're all aiming to shine brighter than the next star. I found that humorous and genuine." She detailed his controversies and rumors. Blake remarked his private life was rumored everywhere. Hollywood adored gossip, and Liberace provided plenty. He handled everything gracefully, never furious or defensive. He'd smile and say something funny to make everyone laugh. His armor Blake valued resilience greatly. She thought his charm was that he never apologized for being himself. Liberace defied categorization in a business that tried to cage him in. He made one with gold and rhinestones. She likened his charm to Elvis Presley, whom she met later in her career, saying both guys had an electric energy that filled every room. She stated that Liberace shone with delight, unlike Elvis's dangerous, smoldering attractiveness. He dazzled, not seduced. Blake became more reflective as she recalled. Her reflections revealed that Liberace taught her about authenticity. He taught me that being true to yourself, no matter how crazy others think, brings happiness. She said she hid behind Miss Kitty throughout her early pistol-smoking years for fear of being judged or misunderstood. I remembered Liberace and decided to shine a little, even if it meant taking chances. Amanda Blake's story went beyond gossip and nostalgia. It humanized legends. Her confession about Liberace was a tribute to a performer who dared to be unique, not a tabloid headline. She concluded that he was huge in heart, as well as fame or income. He showed the world, but also brought delight. I'll always be grateful for seeing that shine up close. Blake, 60, died of AIDS-related hepatitis at Mercy General Hospital in Sacramento on August 16, 1989. Her doctor revealed that AIDS caused her death, which was first attributed to throat cancer. Blake's illness transmission is unknown. Blake's close friends claim she was not a drug user or promiscuous and may have contracted AIDS from her fifth spouse, who died of AIDS-related pneumonia in 1985.